Diary, hello. It's the almost the end of September. I'm here in the study with my very faithful princess, who is taking a nap by the look of it. Let's try and keep it down. I'm here to discuss the what I call the mostly wonderful ASUS Vivobook E1504GA. Now, as the title suggests in the blog, I'm going to go through the blog post, and we're just going to amend it on the fly, shall we? It's a mostly wonderful laptop. And why is it mostly wonderful? It's because this is a £350 laptop. If I was spending £3,500 or even £2,000 or even £1,000 on this laptop, I'd probably have higher expectations, but I'm not. So with the price firmly in mind, let's continue. As you can see, I do have some props, including the laptop itself, but as you can see, it's a silverish laptop. It's got a 15.6 inch screen, and in general, the specs are pretty bonkers. Let's look at the specs, shall we? It claims to have, and it does have, an 8-core, 8-thread laptop CPU, which can turbo boost up to 3.8 gigahertz. Now, I've not actually seen that. And to be fair, the 1.8 gigahertz base rate is very low. It's a 12th gen CPU, so it's a recent CPU, and I would say it's a bit slower than I would have anticipated. I thought with all these cores and as you see, the fast disk and the large amount of memory, this thing's going to go like crazy, but it doesn't go like crazy. But it goes well. We'll scroll down the specs. It's got a HD screen, and although the Vivobook range has got many OLED models, for the small price of £350, you are not going to get an OLED screen. I think they start at something like £500 or £600, but this, just to repeat yet again, is £350. Now, I would say that the display was not very bright. Is not very bright, and that is one of my complaints, as you'll see on my checklist of good and bad things. Anyway, I don't want us to spoil the review, because if we look at all the specs, we'll just have to stop there, won't we? It has got quite a big battery, by the way, and it has got a tiny power adapter. Well, that's not even on the list. Hang on, let's write that down. So the first thing to know, this is going through my checklist of what's great about this laptop and what's average and what's not so good. So it's got lots of RAM. It's got 8 gigabytes. 8 gigabytes. Again, £350. Again, 8 gigabyte laptop. We do have 8 cores on a 12th generation CPU. I didn't notice it going that quickly. I've dabbled a little bit with the Windows settings. It's got a 512 gigabyte NVMe hard drive, which is just massive. Whilst copying from that internal drive to and from a relatively fast USB key, I can get a sustained 200 megabytes. And I even got up to 600 megabytes right into that key, but I think it was buffering it. So it's a classic, that's kind of the raw memory, the CPU memory speed, rather than the disk speed. But nevertheless, it was well over 200 megabytes. It was at least 250, even, just let's call it 200 megabytes per second. Not bad. Okay, a negative point, and this is one of the biggest complaints I've got about the laptop. So here's the laptop. Here's the laptop, and you will see that on the side of this laptop, we've got quite a significant, I wouldn't say hole, but here's a steel aluminium ruler. I can actually fit that ruler in the side. The edge of that ruler actually goes in, and that's how big the gap is. There's no gap on this end, the front end, but again on the back where the hinge is here, huge. I can actually get the whole of the ruler in. So I don't know what you're thinking, ASUS, but I mean, could you not have just having no gap? I don't understand why there's a gap. On the construction side, it is really solid, even though it's not actually made from any kind of metal. So here's the laptop. It's actually completely plastic. The back is plastic, but really firm, and the front is plastic. And inside the laptop, guess what? Plastic. But it looks like it's, here we go. So there's the actual laptop. And it's 15-inch screen, and it looks like it's made out of shiny metal, but it's just actually plastic. Nevertheless, it's people always talk about flex. What does that mean? It's pretty good. Let's look at plastic. The keyboard. Now the keyboard does look a bit like Fisher-Price. However, it's very easy to read. I don't know what this logo is here. This looks like something out of a building site or yeah, I don't know what that's about. But it is very legible. There's no backlit keyboard. There's no touchscreen. And there's no fingerprint reader. Oh, these should be things I put down, because these are things that are kind of important on a 2023 laptop. But obviously you're only spending a very small amount of money, so you know, you get what you pay for, right? So let's put down at the bottom. So we've got no fingerprint reader. And no Windows Face login, for example. Let's go up back here. Right, it came installed Windows 11 Home in S mode, and if you don't know what that means, it means that they've set Windows up. Microsoft has set Windows up, so you can't install any executable programs that you've downloaded from the interweb. You have to just take stuff from the App Store. Now, whilst people like Apple can get away with it, in the Microsoft world, that would be unacceptable. There are so many programs you might want to download that don't have equivalent versions in the App Store. It would be ludicrous to limit your laptop to only App Store. So you can make a one-way exit out of the S mode, which I have done for this laptop, and it now can install anything. That's fine. It did pre-install Microsoft Office, which it was in about 10 different languages, and I had to uninstall each separate language. It was extremely irritating. Thanks, Microsoft. And by the way, I noticed when you upgrade the laptop with Windows Update, I foolishly just said in the Edge update a second ago, accept the Microsoft preferences, and it put Bing back as the search engine. So in the same sort of mode, when you apply Windows, if you remove Windows apps that you don't like and never will use, sometimes you find if you apply Windows Update, a major update, it puts them back in again. So thanks, Microsoft. Battery life. Now, this is a negative because there's only about 5 hours of battery life. Now, again, it's a cheap laptop, 5 hours of battery life. It's a lot better than my fantastically powerful in the cupboard 40GB memory ASUS laptop, which sort of Nova laptop, which only lasts about 2 hours, 3 hours. But that's because it's got many processors and many threads, and 40GB of memory. This is an 8GB machine with a very low power processor. I had thought it could do better than 5 hours, but at the moment, no. And to be fair to Windows 11, there's lots of things you can tweak, like the brightness of the screen and whether USB ports operate in a certain way. So there may be some ability to tweak that. On a good point, it's got USB Type A and C ports. Thank you very much. The camera is 720p, which I think it could have done better for that, even at the price. It comes with a barrel plug adapter, and the adapter itself is teeny. Look how small that is. It's teeny, absolutely teeny. So the good news is the adapter is microscopically small, the power adapter. In fact, the mains cable, the plug, look at the size of a UK plug. The plug is about the same size as the power adapter. That's how small this power adapter is. So the cable is going to take a lot more volume in your bag if you take it with you than the actual power adapter. As I mentioned, the fact that brilliance isn't that great, but true. Next, the Wi-Fi 6. There is Wi-Fi 6. I've just checked a quick benchmark at home here. We're getting downloads of over 500 megabits per second. So I'll say that slowly. We're getting downloads of over 500 megabits per second. That is surely fast enough. No fingerprint reader, no face login. Upgrade potential. So I have taken off the screws from the back of this laptop, and Apple, you might be interested to hear, it's quite possible to have a laptop which is able to have the back taken off in less than 90 seconds, as is the case here. So the screws came off, the case unclips, you need a bit of a pry tool to get it off, and you will see we have got removable SSD, and we've got removable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So it's not bad. The memory is on the motherboard, you can't get that off, but you can change the SSD should you need to, or plug it into another system. If the system catastrophically failed, you could take it out, etc., etc. Okay. Oh, screws are all the same length, but they're nearly all. There's one that's slightly different length. So if you're a repairer, just remember, make a note where the screws are longer and shorter. The looks, I think looks are really good. It looks like it's made out of aluminium. It's not. I think we're just about done, really. Yeah, they've got a link to the specs page. Yeah, I think we're done. So that is let's get back to the top. What are we talking about? We're talking about the ASUS Vivobook E1504GA. It's only, I'm not getting paid for this, it's only £350, which I think, considering what you're getting, is a bargain. Thank you for watching.